Hey guys, as you might already know, fidget toys in general have become very popular recently. You have all these different type of spinners, and then you have the Fidget Cube, which started as a Kickstarter project and is now commercially sold. However, I don't feel like spending $25 on a small plastic cube, so I decided to make my own out of wood. This one is made out of plywood and features 3 gadgets. You have 2 rollers on the front, a spinner on the top, as well as a springy button on the back. On the bottom I have glued in a magnet so that you can place it wherever you want, and it's very convenient. Now this video isn't about me rambling all day, so let's see how you make it. Alright, so the materials we're using today is some 7mm plywood. You could use other materials as well if you're able to get it to the right thickness. Now for this project you are going to need a template. This is my hand-drawn template, which you can find in the link in the text description down below. Now as a disclaimer, you shouldn't think of this as an actual set of plans, but more as a reference to the video so that you can get a better understanding of what I'm doing. This here looks like one big pile of clutter, but it shows my design. The cube is built up of 5 layers, and the combined width of your material controls the height of the cube. You obviously don't want it to be rectangular, so that's something to keep in mind. Now because I'm using 7mm plywood, the width and height of my cube will be 35mm. Alright, now that we know the measurements, we can cut out some squares. We now have 5 blocks, and because we're trying to recreate this, it's a good idea to mark each block individually according to the numbers. So looking at the template, you can see that there are many small parts which we need to make, and that is what I'm gonna do now. For the material I will be using some thin walnuts, because not only is it stronger, but it also gives a nice contrast. This looks like a great size for the rollers. It is 60mm in diameter, and I will use it as a template. Wow, I haven't filmed that many close-ups in quite a while. Now I have finished one of these, and I'm thinking about making it more tactile. This should be as simple as making 8 marks and cut them with a file. They're done! Who could have thought it would take so much time to make something this small? Now, before we can continue, all sides on the block needs to be perfectly flat. So I now had the blocks shaped into a box, and I have made these 2 gears. Now the thing I've got left is to make the button and the spinner on top of here, as well as the finger grooves on the sides. First I'll make the spinner, and I was able to find a coin of the right size, which I'll use as the template. Well, this really doesn't look as great as I imagined, but at this time I have tried and failed so many times that I just don't care anymore. Now let's put that aside and start with this button thing, which I think will be very hard to make and is gonna be very flimsy. So I have finally made all the pieces. It took a lot longer time than I expected, but now we need to make the cavities so that they can sit inside the blocks. This really shouldn't be too hard. I made a hole a bit bigger so that the nail has some play and that I can adjust it before gluing it in place. At this first test fit, these rollers work very great. The spinner is gonna sit on here and it's easy to install, but I'm not looking forward to this part. I figured these should work pretty good. I have hammered this in place and I found this spring from an old pen which sits on here and provides this with tension. I have shortened the spring and now it's about the right size. To be able to fully assemble this system, I will have to glue together part 3 and part 2. As you can see, I have added a nail in part 2 and that one sits fixed in there, and this just goes on here, and I will glue on the spring. A great tip, don't add glue here. There shouldn't be any glue there whatsoever. If you plan to sand or shape your button, you have to do it now before it's glued in place. Here comes the tricky part. I'm using super glue to glue the spring in place, but you really want to wear gloves because you don't want this stuff on your hands. Yay, got it to balance. This stuff, seriously, it sucks. All it does is stick to my fingers, but not the wood. Or the metal, for that sake. Sometimes the easy route is the best. I just use some hot glue and now it works flawlessly. Let's assemble everything else. So I dropped the nail that was gonna sit on here, and I feel like the guy who made this floor was an evil genius. So you could call this toy finished, but considering that we still have 3 sides that are all empty, I want to add something extra to it. It didn't take me a very long time to glue a magnet onto the bottom, but now I can stick it pretty much anywhere. I guess I could go crazy on the finishing, but no, Lindsay doll works fine enough for me. Alright, our cube is finished, and you have these rollers on the front, a spinner on top, as well as a clicky button on the back. The built-in magnet on the bottom will stick to something like a fridge, making it easy accessible wherever you are. Now, as you know, I only covered 4 of the sides, so there are still 2 remaining sides to place something on. As an idea, perhaps you could put a pen and a pineapple. Sorry, I'll show myself out. No, but on a serious note, I leave that to your imagination. Now, would I make this thing again? Well, it depends. I will probably make it slightly larger, then it's less fiddly to make these small parts, and then I would make it out of a stronger material like aluminum, brass and copper. Alright, that was all I have for today. If you enjoyed the video, then please leave a like and subscribe to my channel. I will be coming back soon with a new woodworking related project, so stay tuned for that. I'll see you next time. Bye.